Welcome to the Rockhound Podcast, where my face is red as Kurt's shirt. So it's just us three tonight.
Oh
And
my
then
gosh, it is. Sorry.
we all match. And my sign. Hey, a warm welcome to all of you guys joining us. So it's not just us three, it's all y'all too. We've got a totally fun Q&A session on deck for you guys tonight. But first, we'd like to know where you guys are tuning in from. So leave that in the comments and let us know what you're up to too. And those of you that are romping around in the chat right now, leave it in the comments because I won't get them. And I will give you a shout out next week, but not in the chat, down in the comments. I'm Karen from Ozone Fine Art Adventures from the balmy, warm Oregon coast. Kurt?
Ooh, you're lucky. I'm Kurt with
Rockhounding.Adventures.
Rockhounding.Adventures. No, I didn't phrase. I was just joking. I'm Kurt with Rockhounding.Adventures out in Western Colorado, and it's kind of warm, kind of cold. It's supposed to get snow again, but it's been like around 70. So who knows what it is?
Ooh, 70.
And I'm Kyle with World of Rockhounds, and that was our introductions. So, how was everyone's weeks?
Well, I had a totally incredibly crazy week. Of course, we were getting ready for the Makers Challenge, and so my time was very absorbed with that all the way up to an hour before it came out. And
That's
then, of
cutting it
course, it was
close.
uploading. So yeah, it was really very, very close. And so go check that out. Don't look in the comments and then see if you can guess what I'm making, and then leave that in the comments when you finally figure out what it is that I'm making. I dare you. And then, of course, check out all the rest of the Makers Challenge challenges that are out there. There's a whole week of them, and so there's some to come, as in the Friday ones and the Saturday ones. And then, of course, they started last Sunday, so go catch up with those as soon as you're done watching this podcast. I'm working on a petrified wood video right now. And that's going to be the announcement video for the viewer appreciation giveaway that I've been running for the last several videos that I've put out. You put a comment on that, you're entered in the video, or rather the giveaway. And so you have a couple more days to do that. The last four, other than the Makers Challenge, that's 4 times that your name goes into the hat. Just not the Makers Challenge ones, the last 4 major videos from before that. Leave a comment, your name goes in the hat. And then another channel is visiting my town and doing some rock hounding today. And so I had the pleasure of meeting him and his family, and he even gave me a gift and a killer rock box. And you can see what gift that was if you stick around for the show and tell. So there's a teaser, and you get to find out who that was also at that time. And so that was my crazy week without more details. So Kurt, how about you?
My week was crazy as well. Trying to get the Makers Challenge video completely edited. I ended up getting to the point where I was just like, I'm just going to scrap like 20 minutes worth of time and just shorten it because it was just taking too long. And I had hours left to upload it before it was supposed to air. So I'm in the same boat, or I was in the same boat. So check that video out as well as everyone else's, just like Aaron said. And other than that, I have been taking it easy, relaxing, and not stressing because that was a lot of stress. I almost
It was a schlot of less.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just relaxing basically. I did a couple small slab cuts on some Oregon petrified wood, and I plan on making some stuff out of that, and that'll be a future video and show and tell. And other than that, plan on cutting a limb cast, and that will be this upcoming week's video. I'm gonna cut it, polish it, and then maybe see if it has an iris in it. And you guys see that in the show and tell. So, Kyle?
Thank you both for your sharing of your weeks. And mine is just, I've been kind of getting into my new job, so like I have kind of been spending my evenings with the family. It's kind of relaxing because I finished my Maker's Challenge. Oh, last week. So I had it uploaded last week.
Lucky.
Yeah,
But then like
right.
come Monday or Tuesday after watching like everyone else's videos that come out at that point, I'm like, maybe I should have done something that was more creative and just not a simple polish video. So I'm like, oh man, I should have done something different. But like, no, that's fine. Like, it was shiny, it was flashy. People seem to enjoy it, so I'm like, I'm okay with my
Beautiful.
choice.
Yeah.
But next year, I promise I'll do something that's not just polish. I'll do something different. I will hold myself to my promise.
If you want to do Fire Obsidian again, perfectly fine with me.
Yep. Me too.
I mean,
2 votes.
I almost posted a video of what I have on my table in my garage right now. I've been in between other projects. I've been kind of like dabbling in my finds my third trip to the rock shop. So
You went to the rock shop again.
I didn't record that time either, and I got just as dirty as I did the times before. And I actually joked with the owner, I was like, if I had a wheelbarrow, I probably could have helping you dump all this obsidian into the dedicated obsidian pile, because I'm sorting through the pile of like everything else to find all this fire obsidian. He's like, oh, maybe next time you could. I'm like, I'll help. I don't mind. It just means I won't be sorting through something I've already sorted before, so it's already out of my way.
Move.
But yeah, other than that, just the Maker's Challenge was definitely afterwards, just like take a breath, a breath. It's like it's done. But I'm already looking forward to doing next year's. Like, I have a bunch of cool ideas. I think it was Karen's I was watching, and I don't know what sparked it in your video, but I had an idea pop into my head. I'm like, I want to do that, and it's almost not even related to your video, but something about it just sparked an idea. I'm like, okay.
Do we get to know on the down low?
I mean, I can tell you guys, and I'll blurb it out. So I'll mark down the time so I know where to put it. So I want to make.
Yes, do it.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. So
I stole your line, Kurt. I'm sorry.
You're good. It's either my line or Kyle's line. That's like, it just goes back and forth.
But yeah, I want to try to find a nice clear piece to do that with, so like it's almost see through.
Oh yeah, like the midnight lace, but light.
Yeah,
yes.
I mean, that'd be really cool.
Wow.
But yeah, that was my week.
Write it down. It's a year.
Yeah.
Because I think that's the problem, is that, like, how you have the perfect Halloween costume, like after Halloween, like right after, you're like, oh, I'm so gonna do this next year, and then like a month before Halloween, you're just like, I don't know what cut the eyes in the sheet.
I a few months ago, I actually went to Fred Meyer in the discount section. I found like a project book where it's like just like blank pages, and where you can put notes and what your idea is. So I got one of those, and so I put the idea in that book, and actually it's right behind me, and it'll cover you right there. So that's where all my top secret projects are gonna be at from now on. That was my week, and so we're gonna do something a little bit different tonight. Karen did a little shout out on the Discord channel, get some questions for us three, and we're gonna answer those questions. So Karen, you want to start off with the first question?
Sure. And thank you, Discordians. This was something for just those guys. And so if you want to be in on that action, send us an email. The email is in the description, and we will send you an invite to the Discord, and you can have fun. The first question was, I want to know what are some of the must-have garments or accessories to wear while you're rock hounding. I have a feeling she doesn't mean like, Christian Dior or Prada or anything like that, how high the heels should be. I've been watching some of the Arkansas videos lately and thought to myself, wow, I need some beefier pants if I want to do that. How many times have you said that to yourself? So I think you had like just a straight off of the cuff, no pun intended, answer, Kyle.
Carhartts.
One word.
Because they make pants that are double-sided in the front, so you can walk through briars, no problem. Sticks, no problem. I definitely wouldn't suggest wearing Victoria's Secret out in the wilderness when you're looking for rocks, because you're gonna get,
especially for you.
I mean, it might feel breezy at the moment, but you're gonna get bugs and ticks and pricks from blackberry briars. So thick pants.
Wow. True. And I think that like not only are there nice Carhartts for gals, but if you've got a ranch store, farming, gardening, a lot of times they have some sort of off brands that are super duper rugged, kind of made in the same way. Some of them have double knees and stuff like that, so that you're totally covered. So farming, gardening, outdoor brands, and then I have some pretty decent like REI and Columbia gear too. So those are a little bit more camping, hiking, but they can be really, really good for rock hounding. And of course, you need pockets. Do you have an addition, Kurt?
I was just gonna say, use what you got. I mean, it's like I just wear jeans. The more pockets, the better, because if you don't take a bag, you can fill your pockets, and a belt as well, because you don't want your pants to fall as you're going down the mountain or going down the beach. Just whatever you got. There's not any certain gear besides like I like always having knee pads with me, because I have bad knees, and knee pads really help. And gloves too. If you like digging with your hands, you don't know what you're gonna find. If it's gonna be broken glass, I've shredded my fingertips before by finding broken glass. So always have a pair of gloves, and it also helps with toxic material that if you find any too. So that's my input.
That is a super good one. Yeah. Last thing, surplus gear.
Yes.
Yeah, that stuff is awesome. So if you can get fatigues, and even like through law enforcement and or military order houses, you can get some of their just regular issue stuff you can buy. And that stuff like has lots and lots of pockets and little nooks and crannies, like the side pockets on the like kind of cargo-ish. Go ahead, Kurt.
Oh, I was just gonna say, now, like on Facebook, there were like a while back, and y'all may have seen these advertisements, but it's like for like high quality rugged like pants that have tons of pockets. It says it's made in the US, but don't trust that. And it's like they say it'll be like 80% off, and it's water resistant, like all this stuff that sounds perfect to go out hiking, camping, or whatnot. I ordered a pair in my size. 3.5 weeks later, it came from China, and it was a size small. And then there's no way to return it. So don't trust those ads if you see any of them on Instagram or Facebook.
Good advice.
Or TikTok.
That's super good advice. Yeah, if it seems like the perfect too good to be true thing, it is. So.
Yeah.
Hopefully that helps. That was from Purdy 04.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yep.
Thank you.
The next question is from Patrick, actually his wife. Was wondering how the podcast came to be in the first place. Like, who made the first contact? Maybe I missed it in the earlier episode. So we can't name names. I know, so drama.
No.
But we can't name names. But I think it was Kurt and the other person that had started contact first, and then they had started talking to me, and then from there, I think, was it Karen first or myself first?
It was he contacted me. We were talking about it, and I said I know Kyle, so we got Kyle. Then he said we need a female on the show, so then he brought in Karen.
What?
Yeah.
And then, I think from there we just kind of tried it out at first. Yeah, and things went great. We did, I think, 5 or 6 episodes, just the 4 of us at the time. And then we don't know what happened, but basically I'll try to say as much as I can without saying too much, without getting us really into trouble. But what happened was this particular person sent a out of the blue message to me saying that is, they were threatening to sue me if I didn't take down all the content with him in it. And we don't know what prompted this, what started it. There was a slight conflict in what we wanted in the channel. The three of us were more about the community, and he just had different views of where this should be going, and we weren't really about that. So in how I dealt with this, this took many hours. Rather than delete those episodes entirely, I went through and I painstakingly edited that person out of the very first podcast sessions. And that way we didn't lose all the content that we had with those guests that we brought on, because it would have been more embarrassing for us to have to reach back out to the guests and say like, hey, we had to take down this content for XYZ. Can you come back and re-record? And so rather than do that, we just kind of did what we could to make it look decent. And I think the end result really paid off, and we just kind of moved on. And
so the gnome sits in on those videos,
yeah.
right?
Yes.
Yeah,
yes,
so that
yes.
explains things. If you were wondering, like if you started from the beginning or if you were wanting to, and you do, that's why there's a gnome in
Yes.
Theo's place. Like
Yes.
it wasn't just that he was in Florida and couldn't make it.
Yeah.
Like
so
normal.
yeah, and it was after that we had approached Theo and asked him if he wanted to be the new host on the show, and he was like, yeah. I'm like, okay, cool. We have our personality.
Yep.
And we thank Theo for the time and dedication that he's put into the podcast with us.
He's in Florida.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like normal.
By the way. Yeah. Or he's on a plane at this very moment or what have you.
Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah, that basically answers that question. It's, we never really talked about it here on the podcast. We just kind of like kept it, let it go. But
Yeah.
you guys asked and we answered, so there's your answer.
We'll ask the pressing questions, or rather answer them. Yeah, anyway.
Next question.
Yes. So another one from Patrick, more rock hounding related. Now that clubs, groups are putting on shows again, I'm wondering if you have plans to go to or deal at any rock and gem shows this year, is part one. And then how far would or have you gone to go to a show? Anybody want to start that one off?
So there is a rock show coming up here in the next week or so. It's for Rick Riel, Oregon. Oh my gosh. Rick Riel, Oregon. And I swear, don't give me flack for saying our own state name wrong, because that was ridiculous.
I have that kind of week.
I have a sore on the side of my tongue, so it's a little bit hard to speak. So that's my lean on too for that excuse. But there is a rock show coming up, and I went last year. It was kind of small because it was still within the COVID pandemic thing, so they had everything outside. But from the advertising, it looks like it's back inside again, and so I'm really looking forward to it. Hopefully, they're gonna have more vendors. And they're gonna have the display booths again and the silent auctions. So I'm really hoping to go and look for more material. And now that I have a new job again, I don't have to pinch pennies so much, so I can actually go spend some more money on more material. I don't think I'll find any fire obsidian there, but I'll see if I can find some other stuff. I would love to be a vendor, just kind of help get rid of some of the stuff in my backyard, but no, I don't have time.
Maybe next year. You never know.
Maybe.
Yeah.
And the farthest, I think Rick Riel, is no. I take that back. No, there was one in Tualatin. I used to work at or volunteer at a rock shop. I used to help out with show. No, I take that back. I'm sorry. Seattle was the farthest I've ever been, and that was many years ago, where I helped out with the rock show. I think the farthest that I would have gone would have been to the trunk show that was for the Rock Rollers. I think it was in the summertime that Jared with currently Rockhounding went to.
Oh, that looked so cool.
If I had followed through and if I had gone on that little trip, that would have been the farthest one I've ever been to, and I didn't go. I wish I would have, but I couldn't. But that was my answer.
Nice. Awesome.
Kurt?
Well, I haven't really been to any rock shows. I've always wanted to go to the Tucson show.
Yeah.
So that would probably be the furthest one that I'm willing to like travel to. But if
What
there
about
was the
Denver?
one, I haven't been to the one in Denver either.
That's a big
Um,
one.
That's Tucson and Denver are the two main ones I really wanted to go to. So maybe later this year. I think the one in Denver is November, I think. So I may try and get out and go to that one. There's been a lot of local small rock shows here and there in some of the communities, and I plan to get out to those maybe later this year as well and do that. But the farthest I'm willing to travel is just depends on what's available at that rock show. If there's one that popped up in Maine, I'd go to Maine.
There you go.
So
Good answer. I think that it would be a blast to have a booth. And so
Mhm.
who knows, maybe I might do booth someday, sometime. I miss having a gallery, so it would be cool, just to play gallery for a few days, and then be able to pack up and say bye-bye. So I used to travel from California to Tucson, and so that's how far I've traveled. We'd jump on a jet and come out to Tucson and play for a week and then jump on a jet and go back or drive. My mom, she used to buy so much crap that we had to switch to driving because we couldn't take it on the plane. That's how we got our first flat lap from High Tech. And then she replanted me there so that she wouldn't have to drive. She just would come and fly, and I didn't have to commute to the gem show anymore. I lived in Tucson. So yeah, that's a good question, Patrick. Them's the answers.
Yeah, thank you. Gray asks, what I would like to know is if any of you had given thought to putting together an informal get-together for a group hunt a la Crystal Collector for us podcast groupies. That's not, we haven't really put too much thought into it, but that's not a bad idea.
For sure. It would be the answer. It's just that we're also dispersed amongst the country and in other countries. It would be, it would be a bit of a push up if, we all sort of live in the West. And so we might convene someplace central. Colorado wouldn't be bad, or Idaho. We could all kind of just
migrate,
convene, to something that's sort of centrally located for us. But that doesn't help anybody in Ontario or out east or something. It would be awesome. So if you have ideas, go ahead and just leave them in the comments, and we'll muse and dream, and maybe we can come up with something that would be super cool.
Yep.
Yeah, I know that Brian was out at the Spectrum too long ago. I mean, for us Oregonians, that's not really. It is kind of a long drive, but that's not too much of a far stretch for us to go out there. I mean, it's our state gemstone. But I think it definitely require a lot of planning and organizing to accommodate something like that.
It's more that location is a tough one. It would be easier to organize around something that isn't so and there's no water or toilets or
rough it.
Just depending on where you are.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, the Spectrum mine does they do have a toilet and a bathroom, but it's
outside.
Yeah,
you only need one, right?
Right.
I don't know. There's some activities you just definitely.
I know. Just put two rocks together.
Good. Wow. A whole new application that we didn't cover during the Makers Challenge for rocks. That's great.
That'd be a bit rough.
Oh my gosh, that would be so funny to do for Makers Challenge.
Ouch.
There's always next year, Kurt. Yeah.
I'll be quiet.
Yeah, that's something that we probably should maybe plan for the future. See what happens. Next one's for you. Oh, thank you, Greg, for that question, by the way.
Thank you, Greg. Patrick asks a question that Tyler Geode Cracker and Collector had asked before for one of our guests and wants to turn it on us. And so he asks, I'm not sure if the crew has told their stories. What's your worst rock hounding experience?
Who wants to go first?
So, I mean, I wouldn't say it was. I mean, and it was kind of my worst, but I'm trying to think of a way to say this. Um, it wasn't necessarily bad, but it definitely was my best rock hounding experience, and it is related to Glass Butte. Um, a long time, my very first time out there, and like, there's still a story to that. I'm not going to talk about until we get to.
I was wondering if.
Yeah, and it's related to the last question, or the way that we ended the last question.
But there is a story to that one. I'll tell it at a later date. But apart from that, like, that was my very first time out there, and the person I went with was going for obsidian, and they have a rock shop, which is fine, whatever. But for my trip out there, I only have like a small chunk of very low grade fire, and this is before the claims, the current active claims were there. So I only have like a small piece of the memento from my time there, and that's why I kind of have it like in my. If I go out there again and I look for fire obsidian and I find some, I'm never gonna sell. It's gonna sit in my personal collection because that's something I actually found myself, and the same thing goes to the very first piece I found. But yeah, out of all the stuff that was collected, I didn't get to keep any of it. It wasn't for me. So that was not necessarily my best first time out there. Aside from that small piece, that was my only memento from my time out there. So all the other obsidian that I've been showing and you guys have been seeing on my videos, a lot of it is found either at rock shops, state sales. Some of the finished pieces I got off eBay until I kind of shot myself in the foot from showing all these videos, and now I can hardly find it anymore because people keep buying it up. But yeah, I would like to go back out there and find my own personal pieces. It's just a matter of talking to the current claim owners and meeting them out there to dig and stuff like that. So that was pretty much my least favorite ideal rock hounding trip.
Yeah. How about you, Kurt?
So mine is, I want to say, is back in like 2009. Me and a buddy and his girlfriend, we went out to Long's Day Camp, or Fish Camp, which is out in Kingsland, north of Kingsland, Texas. And we went out there I went out there to go rock hounding and fish, and he went out there mainly to go fishing. And it's like you pay $20 a day to be on their land, and you can find native artifacts. You can pan for gold, and the Llano River. It's on the Llano River, so the river's known to have nice agates. So we went up there. We hiked for probably a good mile from our vehicles down into the river, and I don't remember everything, but I remember we were there for a long time. I didn't find anything worth keeping, but it started getting, like, the sun started setting and the water started getting cold, and we didn't have any flashlights. We weren't planning on being out there for that long, and we were a mile from our vehicles in the middle of the river. So I started looking for firewood, and there wasn't any firewood in the middle of the river where we were, because we were up on some granite. So I walked over to the land next to us. I didn't get on the land. I was just picking up wood that was on, like, driftwood that was on the land. Brought it back to where we were making fire. 15 minutes later, game warden showed up and said I was spotted on someone else's property, and I didn't know what the heck he was talking about. And so I asked it, like I didn't see anyone out there. There's no one around for like miles, but someone spotted me and reported me. But I never got on the land, and there's signs on the land that say no trespassing on this, like, past this point. And I definitely didn't go past that point. And the game warden looked, or he checked to make sure we had fishing license. I had fishing license, Buddy didn't, but he always talking himself out of any trouble. So no tickets were given there. But then I got a ticket for trespassing on agriculture land. And when he looked us up, he was like, "This has happened to you before, hasn't it?" I was like, yes, it did about 2 years ago, just on the other side of the river, a different piece of property.
Oh no.
Same thing. I didn't know I was trespassing. But yeah, the judge dropped that ticket, and yeah. So like after I got my citation, the rangers, he just left, and we were out there stranded in the middle of the river, pitch black, no moonlight, nothing.
Ah.
We had a fishing pole. We had 2 fishing poles, a fishing bow and 1 arrow that did not have a tip on it because we lost the tip. And so we were like going through like water and bushes trying to get back to where we thought we parked. And when we get to the edge of the river, we hear something being killed on the other side of the bush. That like I'm pretty sure it was a rabbit, but something was killing something on the other side of the bush where we were. So we just had like fishing poles and like bow ready, even though it had no tip on it. And an hour and a half later, we finally got back to our vehicles. But that was probably the worst experience.
Yikes. I would ask game warden, hey, thanks for the ticket. Can you help us get it back?
Yeah, can we have a ride?
Yeah. Yep.
Oh man.
So
that stinks.
Always be careful of your surroundings and make sure you're not trespassing. Even when there's no people around to see you trespass, don't even trust it, because you don't know if there's like a wild game camera or something. That's what my guess is. And because like we were out in the middle of nowhere, so yeah.
Wow.
Oh, glad he made it back okay.
Yep.
Karen, what about
you? I think that like, okay, so it's hard to have a bad experience rock hounding, although that one sounds like it, Kurt. Like, you know, if you get lost or something like that, it can really turn out being a bad day or bad weather. I can think of having to get up a few too many times in the middle of the night because it starts to rain and you don't want to get mired out in the middle of nowhere, you know, with your vehicle. And so there's a handful of times that we've had to load up and get out of some pretty sloppy places because, you know, torrential rains that weren't supposed to happen did. That's Oregon. We did come across way in a remote area, trekking on a dirt road that was like seriously nowheresville. We came across a horrific scene that was somewhat mysterious, and we found out later that it was even more horrific than we knew. And that one was haunting, and I lost sleep for several nights in a row after that. And so yeah, that probably, but it didn't like hurt my rock hounding that trip. It just hurt my psyche. So I don't know if I ever told that story. I don't know if I should.
Do you want to wait to the 1,000 subscribers and then
yeah, I guess I could, but it's disturbing. I don't know if it, like, leave it in the comments if you need to hear Karen's disturbing story.
Oh yeah, we can have like the 1,000 subscriber milestone, disturbing and gross stories.
It fits.
Yes, I'm sure I can come up with something to fit in. So,
all right.
Plus, that'd be our best viewed episode because
I know.
Yeah,
because people love it. Murder and intrigue. Yeah.
What? You guys will find out here soon. Largent45 asks, thank you, Patrick, for that question too.
Thank you.
Largent45 asks, I don't know if anyone asked this or not, but what was your absolutely best find ever and your worst? Karen?
Okay. The fossil crab I haven't found yet is my favorite find that I ever haven't found yet. The runner-up is my biggest limb cast. That I found, and it's because I found it myself. And we're not digging at any wounds, Kyle, but it's, like a lot of the stuff that I have, I looked around my stuff and I was just like, what are my favorite things? And some of them aren't necessarily things that I found. And so I was like, okay, like my favorite find, when you like dig something out and you're just like, oh, I can't believe I just found this. And so the fossils hit me in a way that is very special, just because they're telling a story of something really ancient that happened right there. And it's a really interesting way to be connected to both the geology there and, the history of the place where you're standing, kind of like artifacts. And so I think that's why something like that would be my favorite. Crab is my period on the end of that sentence, though. How about you, Kurt?
My favorite, that one's a tough one because I have so many favorites. It's not like one overtops them all. Probably just have to say, back in Texas, growing up on the Colorado River, also known as Lake Travis, and my grandparents' property, I used to dig for arrowheads and so forth, and which is now framed, and that's probably my favorite pieces that I've found rock hounding. But my worst, I have no idea.
Oh, I forgot the worst. Let me insinuate it for both of us, Kurt.
Okay, sounds
Trash.
Good. Oh,
Trash
yes,
is my
100%.
worst find ever. And especially when I'm in a totally remote place and it's beautiful and you're like, oh, and then, you find like an old can, like one of the peel top cans or whatever. Like, you're like, what?
Yep.
Why? And, you pack it out, but like,
or you turn around from the beautiful view and see a pile of trash.
A pile
from someone camping or camped and left everything.
A mattress. Yeah.
Yes.
Something like that.
Why? Like, why?
Yeah.
Like, you're gonna take all the trouble to bring it out there. Take it back. I don't want it.
Yeah.
Nature doesn't want it.
No, nature does not want it. I speak for nature. I am the Lorax. I speak for the trees.
Nice.
But yeah, best find. I mean, yeah, the worst find is definitely trash. But I feel like my best find and my worst find is one of the same. It's the limcast I did not get to keep, and that's.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to scratch that.
It's okay. It's okay. It is what it is. But yeah, that was my best find ever. Even though I technically didn't really dig it out, I did find in the tailings. I just didn't get to keep it. So it was the. I mean. Sorry, I keep thinking of ideas. So, like, yeah, another thing for not necessarily worst finds, but I call them teaser finds. When you're out in the woods, you're kind of, there's a new area you're trying to figure out, like, if there's anything or if there's not anything, and you find little scraps of, like, agate or something or jasper, and you're
Crystal.
like, okay, yeah, like, there's small hints that something's here. So I think teasers might fall into a borderline category, like just next to worst finds, because it's like, okay, here it is, but where is it? Like, is it under the ground, like how far down, or up the hill still, and it just kind of rolled it down and like rolled down? Like, it's the tease that really gets you. But it pays off. It pays off though if you happen to find like where it's coming from and you're starting to find like bigger pieces. So that was that question. So thank you, Largent 45, for that one.
Nice. Ruth Fotris, rooted rockhound prospector. I'm Chris, asks, and he knows this is a sad one. What project that failed or broke on you recently was most devastating, and did you or do you have plans to recover it?
So I did have a project that broke on me. Not super recently, but recently enough. So do you either remember the knife I did with the petrified wood handles?
Oh yeah.
So those the first handles broke, and I had to do everything from scratch. And that wasn't Chris's knife. Chris from Northwest Agate and Agate my gosh, I'm spacing his channel name. But I'll have the link in the description of this video. But anyway, it was a gift from him. And I think his wife found this piece of petrified wood, and he wanted something made out of it. So it took me, I think, about a year or over a year to actually get it done and get it, let him know that it was finished. I still have it. It's in my desk, and he just hasn't had time to come say hello and hang out and get his knife. Chris, if you're watching, I still have your knife. Holding for ransom. But I still have the broken pieces too, and I do have plans to repair that and make a secondary knife out of that. So that'll be a future video, I think. Just how to repair something that's been broken. So something that is broken is not necessarily broken, if that makes sense.
Yep.
But that was my little story.
Nice. How about you, Kurt?
Well, mine was a anhydro I bought on eBay. But hopefully you guys know how that's turned out now.
It's been rehydroed.
April, yes, it's been rehydroed with billion-year-old water from the stream up in the mountains.
Artesian water. Yeah, nice.
Yeah. So
yeah, that was a good recovery, actually.
Yeah, there's a video on it if you guys want to see it. Go
watch it. Oh my gosh. Well, I don't have any because everything I do is perfect. No. Yeah. No. They don't call me the opal killer for nothing. I have broken so many opals. I think that they used to kill people for that. Or something really super serious would happen to you if you killed an opal back in the day. But happily those things, as a small one, can make a nice accent stone or a ring stone or something. But when you've got something big and it's worth a bunch because of there's lots of carats, and that's a sell by the carat kind of thing, and you just kill it.
Yeah.
Put it under the hammer and smash it.
Yeah.
And then fill it in the cracks of your table.
Karen smash.
Yeah, that's it. So yeah, he wondered if we were going to bring out the tissue boxes for that one. Yeah.
Start keeping a bottle of alcohol in your shop, and every time it happens, just pour one out.
Karen, it's 12 noon. Why are you wasted? Every day. Yeah, totally.
So thank you for that question. And we have another question from Greg. So here's a question for the three of you. Do you guys have a rock room like Kyle does? And would you be willing to one day do a show and tell on your channels or on the podcast? I love seeing what others have collected and how they organize their collections. So, I mean, maybe he asked for the three of you as far as Karen, Kurt, and Theo, because I'm in my rock room right now.
You all are in Kyle's rock room right now. In a way.
But yeah, that is a good question. So what do you guys got?
Well, I have a rock collection in boxes, and it moves around. So it's not ever in one place for too long. I used to have it up on the shelves, but because I have cats, one cat in particular will sit up there and look at me and just wipe it right off. And
coconut.
And then
the cat's coconut.
And then go to the next one and do it again. So he's cleared a full shelf of rocks off because he's him. He's a Vermonter, I guess. I don't know. So that rock collection just stays in boxes, and it gets moved around, and I pull it out. Oh, I remember this, and I think about the story that is behind the rock, and goes back in the box. And I wrap it back up in paper towels and stuff, and then it goes back in the box. So, but I will do a video on my personal rock collection if you guys want it, either on my channel or maybe we can have a rock collection episode. Who knows?
That would be cool. I want to see it. So
yeah.
Maybe we can do a share thing here for a special evening. I have a bunch of rocks back there. You can see some of my fossils up there in the little shelves. No dogs can reach with their paws up there, so they're safe. There are spiders, but they don't usually knock them off. But I have a rock room ish downstairs as part of my little galleryette. It's where the larger studio space where you got to see some of it if you saw my makers challenge. I was making the thing that I made down there, big easels where I paint and that sort of thing. And I have like the rocks that I love to look upon down there. And I guess I could maybe share that at some point. It hasn't occurred to me to do like a video. It seems kind of like, ooh, look at my rocks, but I like seeing other people's. So
shop tour.
Oh yeah, and Nibbler the Saw is down there too. So yeah, I guess that is sort of a shop tour. Yeah.
Tours for everyone.
Yeah, it plays in between being a little galleryette where I show I do appointments down there, and then it like you gotta have the rocks out, like, and here's the rocks. Yeah.
So I did find myself stumbling across a video that was kind of showcasing one of those tough sheds that are like 2 stories like tall. And I'm like, I would love to have one in my backyard and then have like the new rock room like upstairs and then have like a more like bigger like rock room like down below. And that could be like a secondary like workstation. I'm like, I was already fantasizing about like putting in my backyard. I have like everything like insulated and have like shiplap, and then like have like upstairs like have like all the foam and stuff, so it makes it all like soundproof. Like I was like just going through the stages. I'm like, and then started measuring my backyard. I'm like, I really don't think one of these like the. I was looking at the I think 16 by 20s. And I don't think that there's a really good spot like big enough, because I think there's like rules like how far you're allowed to like build like from the fence. And I'm like,
does anybody really follow those?
No, they don't.
if you have an HOA in your community, I'm pretty sure you got some body neighbors.
Yeah. No, but I was looking at those hard, and like my imaginations were just running. I'm like, if I sold enough fire obsidian, if I did, I could probably easily pay for like one of these like tough sheds and then like start the renovation projects. But like
you
someday,
find more
Yes,
fire obsidian.
someday.
Yes and no. I'm sure if I start buying enough like from the shop I've been buying from, like they might start upping the prices. Just like, we know what you're finding. The shop owner is really cool though. Like I like him. He's nice. But yeah, I would love to have like actually dedicated outside separate unit from the house to actually move the rock room into. It's just, I really want one of the 2-story ones. I don't think building code allows like a 2-story shed like where we're at. So I was like, it'd be nice.
find a piece of property out in the middle of nowhere, put it on that property, and that way no one can find it and be your own little secret.
If I put it in the middle of nowhere, I'm going to be putting it in the ground, like in a secret tunnel.
Yeah.
Secret tunnel.
That would be cool.
There you go. So cool. The underground rock room.
Yeah, that'd be dope.
Yeah, that would be really freaking cool.
Yeah, that would.
Real quick, Kyle, before I forget, this has nothing to do with this question, but you know how you said when you first posted your fire obsidian video, you can't find it. You can't find fire obsidian really on eBay.
I think it took a while for it to catch on, but people have been like buying it more and more, so it's been hard to find.
Don't list your rock shops you go to online or on any of your videos, so that doesn't happen.
So here's the thing. The rock shop I go to, it's local, but unless you know what you're looking for, like I have a friend that like he watched my video, and I don't know if he watched the podcast or not, but like after my video came out, he's like, dude, that was like a awesome piece of fire. Like I told him, like, go out there, it's out there. I know that he'll know how to look for it, but you really have to really dig for this stuff, because when he got this large estate, he literally had to use a excavator to scoop all this rock up, because it was like buried in the back of the property under all this dirt and blackberry briars. So like a lot of the rocks are actually still under dirt when he dropped onto his property. So it's all been settling. So you really have to dig for it. And it's a lot of work.
Gotcha.
So there's a good takeaway there though, actually, for all y'all. Your rock shop might have something that you're, like a real gem in the rough. Look,
Mhm.
Somebody else might have missed it. Somebody, even the owner might not know for that
Yep.
exact reason. I mean, I love the rock shops where you got like the gritty, grimy, spidery stuff on the side yard or in the backyard. You're just like, yeah, I
Yep.
want to go through that.
And I picked one piece up that I don't even think has fire in it. I don't know. Just because I was looking at it and it had a lot of similarities to so many other pieces. But for that particular piece, I might do a video on as does this have fire question mark, because like I don't know. It's one of those things where I have to literally cut into the stone at this point, and the stone's thick enough where I can't just grind down to it. I have to actually physically take it to the saw and start making cuts to see if it has that color. So fingers crossed.
Want to see the video?
Yep. Maybe I'll do that here this weekend if I have time.
Cool. Yeah. We always need more fire obsidian.
Right.
Yep.
From Greg D again. Here's a silly question for you guys. Have you a favorite piece of equipment and have you given it a name? And he suggests that Theo name his flat lap Stan.
I think I named my blue calving machine Betsy. I don't know why.
I think Rookie is going to really dig this because,
I know.
It's a female. he communes with his rocks. Okay, Betsy.
I don't even know where the name came from. I think it's just maybe because it's blue, like Blue Betsy or something like that. Or I might have been working on a rock. I'm like, heavens a Betsy. And I was like, this is like working. But yeah, I never really thought about that. But for a reason, the name Betsy just stands out. So I was like, I think that's the only machine that really got a name. Oh, no. I used to have a bigger saw, and I sold it, and I think I called it Big Bertha.
Oh,
yeah. So, yeah, there's my answers.
How about you, Kurt?
I'm sorry. I don't name my machines or anything by names. I call it what the name is. Flat lap, saw. Rock pick.
No way. Wow, that's very practical. I did like as soon as I got that 20-inch saw, everybody in the comments was asking me what I was going to name it. Because we have Drogon and other famous saws out there, right? And so she finally spoke to me. And why are like the saws are girls? No, but
that's a good question.
Yeah, I called her Meg after Megalodon because of her great big jaws, and so that
nice.
one, yeah, I might do like a fighter plane nose art on her, like
that'd be cool.
Yeah, because she's already got those colors. She's kind of beat up, and so I figured I'd give her the shark teeth and the eye and maybe start. How they had the little emblems for the bombs dropped. Well, maybe like rocks chewed.
There you go.
Be on the side. And then my high-tech diamond saw, actually the 10-inch spoke to me and wanted to be called Nibbler after the Futurama. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I said it right. Futurama character, Nibbler. And some people say I have a Leela thing going on back when I was a kickboxing instructor. So I'm, cycloptic and all that. So I got Nibbler and Meg.
Nice.
I will say that one of the reasons I probably don't name stuff like that, I think like I will overthink. If I try to think of a cool name, I will be thinking on that and for like an hour and come up with nothing. I will just I'll hyper focus and think and get so frustrated with myself. So I just don't even do it.
Fair enough.
Makes sense. But I think that was all the questions.
That's the questions. Thank you so much, Discordians. Nice. That was awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, and it's interesting being on like the receiving end of the questions, since we're always asking them.
Yeah. And now we can do a quick round of show and tell.
Yeah.
So we're gonna do the same thing we did last week. We're gonna do the highlighted person, whoever's talking, and that way it makes it a little bit more in depth and personal.
We love that. So I mentioned before that there was a visitor in town to the coast, and we didn't get a chance to rock hound together. It was it's not the very, very best. We're in the middle of a hellacious sand season right now, but we did trade boxes of rocks, and he gave me this beautiful necklace that he wrapped, and it was Cordell the rock hugger. And
Nice.
Oh, cool.
it was he was super cool. It was neat to meet his family. He's got a cute little son and an awesome dog, Daisy, and the wife, and everybody was very sweet. And so we just got to hang out, and we didn't video anything. It was kind of like when Kyle came out. We were just like, we just chilled and we're non-channel oriented. We just hung out and talked.
Sometimes it's nice just to kind of do that and hang out and like not even worry about recording, and it's nice.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it was definitely a pleasure. And so we did that, and then my other that was not the planned show and tell, obviously. I have this rock. It is a piece of petrified wood. It's the
Noise.
the stuff that I went to go get from I alluded to this, I think the week before last, from some private land. We got invited to come out, and it's amazing. When you look at the pictures that Kyle's going to put up, though, if anybody out there has some theories as to how this came to be, I would love to know. Especially, this is wood that came from against the Cascades on the Willamette side, the foothills of the Cascades and the Willamette Valley side. And you'll notice that there's no water on this, but it's really very, very slick, and it's rounded off. And so you see how shiny that is?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And this is how it comes out of the ground. This just got hosed off. And I'm wondering if this had to have been in the ground and got a lot of, like, maybe an erratic from a flood or something like that. If you know, share with me, because we find a lot of petrified wood back out east, in the center of the state and in the eastern part of the state, and it's all like, if it's broken, it's jagged. And it's not worked and rounded like that, a little bit more like what Theo would find on the Yellowstone. Ours, most of it that I found in Oregon out of the ground, when you're digging for it, is fresh, and if it's cracked and apart from its tree, it's still really sharp. Would you agree, Kyle?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it's a lot of it's pretty jagged usually when it comes out of the ground here. Maybe, like, I would have a theory, like, it's either a mix between again, like a large flood, or even the freezing and thawing process, like over the millennia of it being in the ground. Maybe there's like a silicate that's actually harder than material itself that's buried in, and just the freezing and thawing process of the ground is like maybe rubbing up against it to kind of help polish it. So
That's interesting.
Yeah, that's a great theory. I will note, as far as those that are also trying to figure this bad boy out, all of the pieces that I got are pretty work. This one's very shiny. The other ones were dirtier, so I don't know how shiny they are. But they all have a bunch of silicates. Like, the permineralization is very, very high. So it's either Jasper or agate, and there might be some opal in here too, but it's hardly any of the petrified wood that's like more chalky, or you know what I mean, like more kind of rockish than full on permineralization with the silicates. This is so glassy. And so, anyways, I thought I'd share not only like the show and tell, but the mystery. And I'd love if you have any concept about it, leave it in the comment, your guesses, whatever, because I'm trying to figure it out. And that's actually what the upcoming video, like I said, the announcement for the giveaway is going to be about the pet wood, and we're going to look at it under the microscope and all that kind of good stuff. It's
nice.
beautiful. Yeah.
Nice.
That's it.
Cool.
Kurt.
Well, thank you for showing that. It's a really awesome piece.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Um,
Pleasure.
for my piece, I was just gonna do one, but I'll do two. I'm in the process of trying it to make a dino bone like freeform cabochon.
Nice.
I don't know if you can see that. I'll send a video of it, but it has some nice agate colors down in the bone marrow. But on this piece, it's for my nephew. He loves dinosaurs, so I figured I would just polish all the edges except for this edge right here and keep it natural, so that way you can see the natural bone structure. I'm gonna polish that for him, and then the other piece is this is a limb cast I got in rock trade from the one person we don't speak of that we talked about a little bit earlier in the show, or it's from Jared, currently Rockhounding. But I definitely know this is from Oregon. I just don't know if it's from the south side or from the north side. But it's a small limb cast, and it is just filled with, I don't know, a couple hundred tiny botroidals all throughout it. And even into this cavity right here, I'll send a video of this. But I was thinking about slicing it right here to make it kind of flat, polish that side, and then the piece that comes off, slice it up and see if it is possible in iris agate. But this is one of my favorite pieces that I've been holding on to for a while that I'm gonna go ahead and make a video out of for this upcoming Monday. So yeah, that's pretty much my show and tell. And also the other thing, the betroyals kind of have like a it's almost like a silverish, like a silver gold champagne color tone to them.
That's cool.
So yeah, it's really interesting. Yeah, it'll be cool to see what that looks like. So
whichever way you slice it, it will take a polish. So
yep, definitely.
Well, thank you for your show and tell. And that comes down to myself. So, as you all know, my maker challenge was this nice piece of fire obsidian. I don't think I can get the flash here in the can. Oh,
what? Here.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you can almost see you guys yourselves in the camera there.
Yep.
Look,
I can.
there's
Hi, myself.
nice.
Look at
It's
that.
Karen and Kurt. But, and then I posted a really short video of just like a before and after. Let's see if I get the direction of this just right. So, don't drop it. Glass.
Yeah, say no more.
So we had the Maker's Challenge. Then I had the short video of this little piece. So if you remember in the Maker's Challenge, I had cut off that small side piece and I set it aside and said I'll do for a future project. Well, I ended up showing that future project before the Maker's Challenge actually came out. So I did a TikTok, and I figured I'd do a TikTok live video, and I polished this live, and I didn't have a whole lot of members in there, but I had a few people. So Tyler was in there, Taylor was in there, Travis was in there, and I had a fair amount of our little peeps in there kind of watching and hanging out, so it was pretty cool. And if I miss anyone, I'm sorry. My memory's awful. But this piece was just like that. Line it up a little bit. So nice. This came off that piece right there. Right?
That's cool.
Nice.
Yeah. No, hold on. I had it backwards. Sorry, I'm seeing it from the other side, and I realized because the back side has the mahogany gold sheen on there. So this actually came from that side. That makes more sense. Okay. But yeah, that's my show and tell. I can always put other pictures or a small video right here over my head of just the quick flash, so you guys get a little refresher of what happened yesterday or on Wednesday.
Do you plan on polishing the side with the mahogany gold sheen?
No. For me, it's
all about the fire.
It is all about the fire for me. I mean, for the small piece, what I will probably end up doing after a while, I'll trim it down so it's thinner and actually make it more into a cab-ish, and then just make sure not to mar up the top of it. And if I do, I can just repolish it. It's not a big deal. But typically, I don't waste my time or my energy in polishing something that doesn't have fire in it. It's just, yeah, it's not worth it.
Okay, hold on.
I mean, if like that one big piece that I kind of teased to, and then I had put into a box for a later date. Like that side, I'm hoping to actually polish both sides. And that project, I think, will take a very long time to do because it's a bigger piece. And then what they need to know about obsidian, and I can't stress this enough, the bigger the surface area, the longer it takes because you're working with scratches. Because you might have one side done, but the moment that something scratches the other side that you just finished, then you have to go back to that side, and it's rinse and repeat like all over again. So the smaller the surface area, the quicker it takes, and that's why I polished this little one on live TikTok because I knew it wouldn't take as long. Whereas this piece took like 5 hours, four or five ish. But yeah, that was my show and tell.
Nice.
And now we can get into yes.
Real quick, since I know y'all both work with obsidian often, do y'all whenever y'all cut it, do y'all wear any certain type of like hand protection? Because every single time I cut obsidian, I end up with at least 4 or 5 like I cut the tips of my fingers so much with obsidian. So I was just wanting to ask this. I'm pretty sure other people would mind hearing.
I don't wear anything.
No.
My tip though is like if you're working like a rough stone or something that you just cut, I will go through the like the 180 grit wheel, so it's aggressive but not super aggressive, and just soften all the really rough edges.
That's a good idea.
And I don't cut myself. I mean, even when I'm looking for the stuff and I'm handling all the rough material, typically like I'll use gloves if like I'm digging through like a pile of rock just for the dirt reason.
Yeah.
But when I get home, like I'm bare hands, like just washing off the obsidian, and I don't cut myself.
Okay.
I'm not flexing. I'm saying like
I totally lacerated myself.
Every time it's like I try so hard not to, and like I'll like be like videoing the rock, and I'm like, oh wait, there's blood.
Right. It is like they used to make scalpels out of it, and I was just hammering on this piece at Glass Butte, and I was going to see if it was a piece of rainbow, and because it was a bigger piece and I didn't want to, schlep it back to the truck if it wasn't. And so I'm like, bah, bah, bah. And it like fling. And I was like, oh my gosh, if it had gone the wrong way, I could have like killed myself. Like it was this big flying saucer that, could have just like gone through my leg. I was just like, don't do that. Like that was so stupid.
At least make sure you got like some type of like arm protection and like a face mask,
leather straps, and
something.
I mean, nothing could have.
I know exactly what you mean.
I stopped that behavior.
I think the last time I cut myself on a rock was actually when I was breaking open a concretion. A small chip of it had flown off, and since my arms are already tight from swinging a hammer, since my skin was so tight that small piece of concretion that chipped off and flew, it actually hit my skin and actually cut it.
Yeah, it's dangerous. I remember like one of my good friends, we would always find these like flint nodules, and I don't know why, but I love smashing them on the ground. And my friend said like, let's stop. It's getting dangerous. I was like, just one more time. And I threw this piece down, and a little flake of it flew straight up, went right into his chin, and gave him stitches. And it was like blood was like going everywhere. I was like, oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah,
we should have stopped.
Yeah, famous last words, right? Yeah. Like, oh, just one more. Terrible.
Well, I'm sorry. I ran out of water some time ago, so my throat's getting a little dry. But that's perfect timing because now we get into words of wisdom.
Okay. Right. Don't run out of water is a good words of wisdom. Don't hit obsidian with a hammer in the middle of nowhere where you'd bleed out. But my real words would be it's nice to have all the right tools. Like again, if you see my maker's challenge, you'll know why. Don't let that stop you though. do the project anyway, as I did. Make do with what you have, but you can ask for help. I recommend asking for help. There's more help out there between advice, skill, and tool loans that I bet you even know. So yeah, like Kyle, after the video, you should come out and done some cuts. And this is like, yeah, like these things might not occur to you, but like if you don't have what it takes, like maybe just ask for help first before you start, starting to use your elbow as a hammer and stuff like that.
Well, for me, it's just like, come hang out. Like, I have the tools.
Right.
Like, I'm more than happy to share my shop. Just, you're like
I would have
45
loved
minutes
to.
away.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a major duh. So anyways, do with what you have. Don't let tools hold you back, but ask for help before you go to that step. And then you might end up hanging out with a friend and using their tools and having a good time. So
Yeah, chances are you probably would have came out with a few rocks too, because you'd be digging through my rock pile back.
right. While you're cutting my project for me.
Where'd Karen go?
Hey.
Oh, she's elbows deep in the rocks in the backyard.
That's great. Them's my words. How about you, Kurt?
I really wasn't sure, but I will go with if you are getting into rock hounding and you don't know like what agates and like just you don't have a general idea of what you're finding, please look up the top 10 most toxic stones, because they could be in your area. And when you go out rock hounding, wear gloves, don't lick rocks, and just be careful. Yeah, like I know when I was out hunting, and yes, exactly. Thank you, Jared, for that, or whoever created that.
That one's a Jared. Yep.
Yeah. And but I remember when I was in Vermont, I didn't know some of the things I was finding was asbestos. And quickly I discarded that. So, and since then I've been wearing gloves when I go out rock hunting. It's good because some rocks can be toxic to touch, to if any dust, or if you decide to lick it for whatever reason. Yeah, so protect yourself and just look up the top 10 like most toxic stones and where they're located in case you are near them.
Yep, it never hurts, and it saves your life.
Yep. And
yeah. Well, thank you too for your words of wisdom. And as I'm sure you guys might take a wild stab in the dark, what my words of wisdom are probably going to be. It's going to be repeat. Go vote for the Lego Minerals set.
Because we haven't gotten there yet. Apparently,
I did that last night. I like pulled up YouTube for just a second. I saw Kyle's post about you need 250 more votes, and I was like, I'm gonna screw it. I'm gonna go ahead and do it. And then I shared it to my Facebook, and yeah.
Since we started recording, it's gotten one more supporter. It is currently on 9,761 out of 10,000 votes needed. It is almost there.
So close.
Just go sign up, make an account. A lot of our viewers, I think, already did, which thank you to everyone that has. And I'm telling you, I'm buying these sets when they come out. And I think what I might do, I might buy a couple extras, because if I do a video on these, I might just give one away. Ooh. So that should be a little incentive. I haven't really said that to anyone else. So if you're watching this, that's
spoiler alert.
Yeah, spoiler and teaser. So if I can get my hands on several of these sets, I might buy a few extras. So keep that in mind. Go support. Cool. And what I might end up doing is I might tell anyone that's watching is if you supported, these sets to be made, send me a screenshot of your support to that project, and you'll be entered. So go do it. And that's my words of wisdom. Do for the kids. And Kyle.
Right on.
So Karen, if you'd be so kind to take us out.
Thank you so much for viewing. And I want to take this moment to remind that we did not have the shouts tonight, but I want to thank Eric for coming on the podcast and showing off all those beautiful glowy rocks. Go ahead and check that out if you haven't already. Thanks again, Eric. And we'll do the shouts for last week and next week along with this week's. Oh my gosh. If you want to be in on the Discord, please go ahead and use the email. We'll send you an invitation and you can come play with us and have show and tell all week long until the next podcast. We're also still getting the show and tells together for our next viewer show and tell. Same email. Send those show and tells. We're almost full up, and so it's going to be happening soon. So send that in, and we'll do that real soon. And until then, get out there and find some cool stuff and rock on for all of us.
Rock on.
Later.